Rhodes Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. That is a massive series out in Arizona, and there's so much on my mind. I'm actually so damn excited to speak with you for the next 30 minutes or so. I do want to do a few housewarming things before we get started. I'm recording this Thursday night after the series finished up. I'm going to Boston this weekend. One of my teammates of mine back when I played junior up in Boston is getting married, so I have to take a trip up to Boston, and that's where I'll be spending the next couple of days. I may pre-record something to schedule and to post it out over the weekend, but in regards to day-by-day Phillies content, yes, that will not be happening in Oakland because of me traveling up north. Okay. I'm a little tiny bit angry. This is a horrible way to start. Very wrong. Very, very wrong. But when you finish strong the way they did, I can't help but think about their terrible organizational approach to Game 1 and how they really could have done a 4-game sweep. They really could have. All right, I'm not going out on a limb here. It makes legitimate sense to see it play out where they would have taken all 4 going into Oakland, making a massive statement before you see the Nets and the Braves in your own ballpark. But, the 3 wins were still very impressive. We can't overlook that. We won't overlook that. I'm just being truthful and letting you in to the Broads' feelings. It's scary there sometimes. It's a little wacky. It gets a little crazy. But it is what it is. That's where I'm at. Let's talk about Game 2, shall we? An absolute ass-kicking. 15 runs. Thanks for coming. And with Wheeler, all right, it's no Aaron Nola. More on that in just a little while. But it's no Aaron Nola. I feel good when Zach Wheeler's on the mound with the lead. He'll be great. There was zero stress, just doing his business, stepping on the bump, giving you a ho-hum 6 innings or so. 6 innings, 1 earned run was his finishing stat line. Your offense was peppering. Starts off with a, wait for it, I want you to wait for it because it's greatness, and I've been trying to tell you all that it's greatness. Wait for it. A Kyle Schwarber leadoff bomb. Here we go. Yesterday pissed us off, right? Let's put ourselves in their shoes. The 9-8 loss happens. The following day, your leadoff man, your leader, says, all right, let's see what I can do, and I'll hit it to fucking Mars, and that's what happened. Now you're up 1-0. Your ace grabs the baseball for the first time with a 1-0 lead. It's a tone setter. 4-0 after the first. I love it. There's something to that. They responded. I think they were just as aggravated as we were with the debacle of the 5th starter spot. Now, Rob hits you with a side smirk and a side smile. Christopher Sanchez, things are happening down with the minors, so I don't know what's going to happen. Rob, we know what the hell's going to happen. Christopher Sanchez is going to get the ball. I don't know how I feel about this. The last I looked, he had around a 4.3 ERA in the minors. You can make the argument it can't be any worse than what you're getting now. And with that said, the offense is finally waking up. So considering the offense is scoring 6, 7, 8 runs, if he can give you some sort of length, 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 innings, 5 earned runs. Can you win that game? Isn't that crazy? It's wild that we feel that that's acceptable. Similar to, and I love Kyle Schwarber, right? You know I'm all in on the Schwarbomb. Ricky Bo was spitting off the batting order or just stats in general. We weren't actually breaking down the order at that specific time. But he goes, yeah, Kyle Schwarber's hitting 174. Then he moves to Trey Turner. And I'm like, the fact that I legitimately am totally cool, and I actually really want that man to get more at-bats than anybody else on this team other than possibly Bryce Harper. But that's the category I see Kyle Schwarber, and I just nonchalantly skip over 174 without thinking about it for a second. Welcome to 2023. But it's the truth. I don't care statistically. We had Tom McCarthy on, and I thought he laid it out kind of perfectly about what you would do. I asked him if he was Rob Thompson, what would he do with the batting order? Would you keep it the same? Would you try and get Trey Turner back in the leadoff spot and get him comfortable there? Would you work Nick Castellanos into the 2-hole like we've seen? Where would you position everyone? And he said, look, I don't care what the numbers look like for Kyle Schwarber. There's something to Kyle Schwarber and this baseball club winning games when he's at the top. Doesn't matter what X, Y, and Z says. Doesn't matter what the analytics. It doesn't matter. All we know is they went to the World Series operating with that philosophy. And they're winning baseball games with this philosophy. Back over the 500 mark. Beating the Nationals, beating the Tigers, Dodgers, now Arizona with Oakland. Kyle Schwarber's batting leadoff. So based off of all of last year, based off of this new winning streak and the style of play that we all love on that side of the plate, right? Nobody's complaining about that. We're complaining about Aaron Nola. We'll complain about Sir Anthony Dominguez in Game 3 in this series, but the team collectively had his back. And Aaron Nola did have to deal with some bad defense, Kyle Schwarber. But I also know that I watch Garrett Cole and I watch Shohei Ohtani and I watch top pitchers in this league. If they end up getting screwed or if they let someone on first base, it doesn't bother them. Aaron Nola does not know how to pitch from the stretch. He doesn't know what to do when somebody's on base. That is a problem. Did you watch Craig Kimbrell? He had those pitch clock violations. Did he look faced? Come on, man. Give me the damn ball. Hell, he's striking out guys, blowing it right down the middle of the plate in that ninth. Not phased. Ranger Suarez. Is Ranger Suarez ever afraid? Nothing ever changes the way his demeanor is. Aaron Nola's got 6,000 things bouncing off his brain. And it shows. Not getting out of the 7th bothers me. And the home run in Game 4, 11 games in a row now. Luckily, Kyle Schwarber made up for his mistake out in left field. But my point is, you're allowed to get out of that jam. You're allowed to support your teammates. So Schwarber messed up. Do something about it. You're the guy who gets the ball on opening day. Work out of it. Work out of adversity. You're a pitcher, for God's sake, a top tier one. So we think in the upper echelon, right? You want to get paid the big bucks. If one of your infielders or outfielders make a mistake and the other team gets a free pass or gets to second base, get out of the inning. Don't let them score. Don't allow a 3-run shot. Don't allow big home runs to happen. You're allowed to do that. But then he settles in and strikes out the side with unreal nasty stuff. Filthy, 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 filthy stuff. So he went from, I can't believe it, even though I can believe it, this is horrible, to, oh yeah, that's what Aaron Nola can do when he's special. I give him a C-. D would be too harsh. Definitely doesn't deserve a B. Doesn't deserve a C+. I look at him and say, yo, Aaron Nola, you gave me a C- against the Diamondbacks. I think that's the only way you can objectively grade that. So brutal. And he's so important to this team getting to the postseason. I'll tell you what, though, Ranger Suarez is fantastic. 7 innings pitched. 7 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. I had a buddy of mine reach out to me. Baseball guy. I don't know if he's in the world of the diehard that we all are. Maybe I'm wrong. And if you're listening to this, then clearly I am wrong, and I apologize. You know who you are, and I'm interested to see if I get a text message in the next couple of days or so. Wheeler, Ranger. Ranger better than Wheeler? Ranger better than we give him credit for? Wheeler has more overpowering stuff. I love Wheeler's velocity and his toughness pitching more. So maybe Ranger doesn't have the same stuff from a technical standpoint, but his demeanor is no joke, and his demeanor is top of the rotation level. He needed a few starts to warm up. I really don't even knock him for what he did when he first got his number called here this season, because we were pretty aware of what he had to deal with from a physical level before he got his first start this season, in the regular season. I'd be afraid of Ranger Suarez if I was in the batter's box. So let's get this straight, just to tie it together with Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez makes a move to second base. It goes into the outfield. Runners stay aboard. What does Ranger Suarez do? Just goes and dominates. Just goes and gets it done. 0 earned runs. Right? Come on. I'm sorry. I know there was so much positivity. Stott was hitting home runs left and right in this series. The same exact time that Mark Stone of the Vegas Golden Knights lifted Lord Stanley and gave it a few kisses and screams in Vegas. Here's Bryson Stott hitting a beauty, man, and he gets a hold of one. When was the last time? We were discussing this during the break because we went up against it this afternoon. Does Bryson Stott have cheapies? Or when he gets a hold of one, is it not crushed? Now, Nick Maton, I think, had sneaky power. That's what I think Bryson Stott has, too. I don't know, maybe even saying that it's sneaky power is unfair and not giving him enough credit for the pop. But he was killing it. JT is back. JT is starting to get as crazy and as good as he was last season from the middle of the year on. He had a day off to get Garrett Stubbs in there. He wants to play the small ball factor. This team won in many ways, though. Speaking of small ball, in Game 3, they win 4-3. They were scoring on fielders' choices. I don't care how. Let's score. So you go up 2-0 before a JT Realmuto's home run to go up 3-0. 2-0 by just putting the ball in play. Now, when a team starts to do stupid things like run into each other over in right field, or forget how many outs there were, not throw the ball in, go back to grab my hat out in left field, JT Realmuto tags up. When you're going to play stupid, make them feel stupid. You're stupid. Now it's 3-0. Now it's 4-0. Let them feel it. And they did. All series. It's an impressive win for this ball club. You know what they have again? They have the confidence. It's starting to click. And may I add, starting to click with Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff. I just want to make sure that that's on the record, that that's noted. That's all. That's all I want to do. Trust me, I'm not trying to boast in it. I'm not trying to brag about how much I wanted this. I'm not talking about how much it tickled my fancy at night. No, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's just about the power of what this offense provides when one Kyle Schwarber bats leadoff. That would be the number one spot in the batting order because he deserves to get as many at-bats as humanly possible. That's all. That's all I'm saying. It has nothing to do with being right. It just has to do with the team and explosiveness at the top of the order, at the top, number one, in the first spot in the batting order when you put out your lineup card and you're Rob Thompson. Speaking of Rob Thompson, as we ride the train tracks, I do that once a show. Get over it. Am I over it? No. Anyway. Where was I going there? See, here we go. I also do this. I said, what did I say? No small ball. Speaking of Rob Thompson, There we go. Anthony Dominguez in Game 3. Oh, talk about devastating. Talk about horrible pain. Doesn't matter, though. We will find a way. Gut check time. Nick Castellanos, I don't care what you do. Let's find a way. Their offense scored how many runs? 15 in Game 2, 8 in Game 1. So that's 23, 27 after Game 3. And then 27 plus 5 is 32. Sir Anthony struggles Game 3. That bullpen in Game 4 was incredible. Soto, Sir Anthony, and Craig, veteran Kimbrell with the ponytail, with the man bun, out of the non-fitted hat. Always going to be strange to me. I'm seeing signs of legitimacy, though. JT Realmuto turning back the clocks and getting a taste of what he delivered for this entire clubhouse last year. If you get that, and you get Nick Castellanos, and Trey Turner has definitely started to look more real again. Bryce Harper, let's not complain about runners in scoring position right now, batting average not being what we want to when guys are able to score. What did he do in the final game? I'll tell you what he did. 5-4 win. Bryce Harper gets you a crucial RBI in the 4th inning to take the lead on a single, which scored Kyle Schwarber, who should bat leadoff, by the way, and then Trey Turner went to second base. Schwarber's double. Let's say I hurt you. Let's say I didn't do my job, but I have a chance pretty quickly to get up to the plate and make up for it. And you do. That's a trend that I could buy into for the long haul, especially from someone like Kyle Schwarber. Bone probably would have hit a home run in this series. One of his longest shots on Thursday afternoon went so deep to the warning track that it would have been out in 16 ballparks throughout all of the majors. Some may say that's great, that's cool. I love Alec Bowman, he can do no wrong. Unfortunately, there's too many of those in this city. And then someone like me goes, well, did it go out? No. It wasn't out of every ballpark except for one, which happens to be Arizona. Now, that would be a different story. There's a lot of other ballparks where that wouldn't have carried. I want more power. I want to see what Stott's doing. I want Bohm to be doing that. Stott is outstanding. His swing is so crisp, too. Is it not beautiful? When you want to show someone who's super young, 3-4 years old, this is how it's going to look. This is what you want it to look like from a steez point of view, from some style. Let's pull up Bryson Stott. I'm excited for this team right now. I'm excited. You heard me. That is correct. You heard me. With that, let's rock your calls. Phillies take 3 of 4. Should have been 4 of 4. Took 3 of 4. Keep this thing rolling into a major week in South Philly. Whew. Awesome stuff. All right, let's do this.
Hey, this was a great series take for the Phillies. This meant a lot. We played a great team, and we played great baseball. There was a lot of good offense. But a couple comments on this. First off, this 100% should have been a sweep. You're not going to convince me that Falter or Sanchez or Placemeyer or McGarry or somebody couldn't have come up to at least eat a few innings out of Game 1 for us. This should have been a sweep. And I'm also going to go ahead and take a moment to say, am I supposed to be happy with Nola giving up 4 runs? Because to me, I feel like that should be Nola's worst day. I feel like Nola should be pitching way better than this and not giving up as many bases as he is. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we won. I guess I can't complain too much.
I love that phone call. I love that phone call. I'm so happy that that was the first phone call. So I'm not the only crazy one. because I think that summarized everything that I've said over the last 20 minutes. I'm not okay with that, Aaron Nola. I'm not satisfied with him. That was absolutely not good enough. C minus. You were below average. C is average. C plus is a tiny bit above the average. C minus. It's too aggressive to give him a D. Definitely can't afford a B. But I'm with you, man. I'm hurt. This almost gives me validation on being so upset after the first 9-8 debacle happened. I was right to be angry because look at the opportunity they lost. There's a lot of time to make up that poor situation that played out, and quite frankly, there's probably going to be another one along the way. But they missed a golden one. And in real time, when I know a golden opportunity was accidentally stepped over, in the moment, I need to tell you how I feel. I run into this problem a lot with some baseball fans. You're going too extreme every game. That's what I enjoy doing. Watching this team, looking at a 3, 4, 5 game sample size, reacting to they've won 8 of their last 10, they're 4 in their last 5 they've won, and I take that and then I react on a day-to-day basis. That if you love baseball, that's what it's all about. If you don't do that, then what do you say? If you're always playing the catch-up game. It's early. I have to wait till this. I have to wait till that. I got to wait till this date. I have to wait until August. I have to wait until after the All-Star break. Then what's the point and the purpose of the first 60, 70, 80? As a fan, they don't count. They're not valued. Your emotions don't swing. You're okay with blowing a 4-0 lead. You don't react in any positive light if they create a huge spark and a big win coming back from behind, down 5 in the 9th inning on the road. Because if the loss that doesn't matter in May happens in a crazy way, and then a wild comeback happens in June, so what? It's not late August? I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. So that's why I'm happy and proud that the first caller decides to feel the same passion that I do and look at the right now and react to the right now while acknowledging the strides they're taking and gather all the information for what we saw. And Aaron Nola stunk. They did win a series, though, and there's a lot of great things happening with the batting order. I don't know. I'm getting excited, though, because I know the Oakland Athletics stink. Broads, watch what you say. Is it a trap series? Interesting you bring that up, Rhodes. Well, why? Why do you say such a thing? Well, I'll tell you in just a moment. They just played a series against the Rays and split a 4-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays. They won 3 in a row against Milwaukee. So they swept the Milwaukee series in Milwaukee. And they won 2 of 3 against the Pirates. And that's where their last series win happened, because they got swept by the Marlins. But they did beat the Atlanta Braves prior to that. I'm getting too sidetracked into the A's specifics. We put up a Twitter poll on the Fanatic, and we'll get to the next call in just 1 second. And the Twitter poll was, is the Phillies' next series with Oakland a trap series leading into the Braves and Mets? 52% said yes, 48% said no. Tim comments and says Oakland is the hottest team in baseball. LOL, a trap series for a 500 team. Okay, I guess you got a point. A's are red hot. Then, well, I wouldn't say they're red hot. If you're afraid of a, quote, red hot Oakland A's team, then you're not good. Is that fair or is that unfair? If you're worried about a, quote, red-hot Oakland Athletics team where fans are setting up meets to try and get the owner to sell the team, but nothing is going to work, and unfortunately that will be a squad in Vegas, which will be very odd thinking about how they're going to fill that stadium, and I watch a Vegas Golden Knights team win a championship, but that works. I don't know if summertime baseball full stadium works that way. Who knows? Maybe I'm pleasantly surprised. Anyway, if you're worried about the A's, you stink. You heard me. Next call.
Well, I gotta say that was a very entertaining game, but I don't know what it is about Aaron Nola. Love him, hate him, Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, can we just give the guy some kind of magic potion and just stay the Aaron Nola that we know he can be? It was a good performance today. How do you go from giving up a 3-run home run in the third inning to the fourth inning, striking out the entire side? Just unbelievable. I thought our hitting was good today. Wish we would have taken advantage of some runners on base with getting them home, but hey, we are above 500, 35-34. I like it. Let's keep rolling, man. What do you think?
I think that I'm enjoying this baseball team as much as you. In regards to the potion, the magic wand that we can toss at Aaron Nola, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think he's lost mentally. I think it's a combination of a lot of things right now. The contract and the money and how everything played out between him and the Phillies. Unfortunately, we're human beings and we run off of emotions, and there's something tied to the financial side of this. It just has to. You can't run away from that. We're talking major money, major free agency. It just is a thing, and they have to deal with that. So Aaron Nola is going through that side of it. The pitch clock, he's already starting to dive into the rule book to get his best advantage possible, which is pretend to be getting the balls properly the way he needs them to, and then chucks it and tries to look for another ball from the catcher to buy time. You're lost when you have to look into the rule book. You're defeated already, right from the jump. You're beat down. So that's hurting him. Men on base is hurting him. So he's dealing with the pitch clock. He's trying to get over the mental battle and diving into the rule book. He's dealing with guys who are on base and the pace when someone is on first or on second and he's got to go from the stretch, the contract. And now that it's happened so much and the storylines are already active, it's making it that much more difficult. And there's probably that much more stress on him to be successful, which then leads to sloppiness, leads to missing his spots. He had some gnarly strikeouts, though. Finished with 9, so he almost ripped double digits in his 6 2/3. Did he get squeezed on the final batter he faced? Did he get that inside part of the plate on previous calls? Close. It was close. Maybe this was a tad more outside or a tad more on that inside part of the plate than some others. But I'm not blaming no umpire. If you think I'm blaming the blue, then you're nuts. Because that's not how this one played out.
Rose, it's the dude that called you the other day that said Fatty McGee shouldn't be batting leadoff. Okay, so it's Wednesday. He had a leadoff home run. The Phillies won. Okay, maybe he should bat leadoff. I digress.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a real quick question. Fact or fiction? The Phillies not giving Aaron Nola a contract extension this offseason was one of the best moves they've ever made in their organizational history. I say it's fact. Because Aaron Nola, my nickname for him is the mental midget. This guy, the fact that he wants $20 to $30 million a season, he can go pound sand. I think it's one of the best non-moves that they've ever made. See ya.
I can't even argue. Maybe they did escape it. We were having a debate. If you're going to let him walk anyway after the season, you try and ditch him at the deadline. see what you can grab from a team that's desperate, and then run with Wheeler, Ranger Suarez. Maybe if Taijuan Walker becomes something good or Andrew Painter, you have 4 guys for the postseason and you bank on some returning assets for Nola if you don't want to pay him anyway. Or do you do something similar to, because this was my counter to it, let's be honest, Rhys Hoskins, if healthy, wasn't probably going to get anything from the Phillies as massive as he'd get elsewhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe John Middleton loves him so much, sees him as a big part to the city and a relationship that we are connected with. We do love Rhys Hoskins. We think he's a great person. He's awesome for the community. He's a true pro ever since he first got his chance to put on that Phillies uniform, and we love him for that. We really do, even through the disgruntling times over at first base and the errors that he happens to unfortunately have. Maybe they did work something out. I would have been shocked, though, with some of the other contracts already on the books. It seemed they were willing to let this final year play out, and then whatever happens in the offseason, so be it. I want to utilize him and leverage this last year to try and make another push towards the World Series, and then we'll figure out Scott Boras and the rest of the dialogue afterwards. If they were willing to lose Rhys for nothing for an extra push, would they be for Aaron Nola too? And that's kind of how I shared my thoughts and opinions on that, which I think is all logical. All right, we'll take one more and wrap things up here as we reach past the 30-minute mark.
Bros, man, these late games are killing me, but God, it's so nice to see this team hitting like we knew they could, just vibing together. It's awesome. It's fun to watch, and I hope we just keep on trucking. I know people already wanted to talk about the wild card and everything like that, and obviously we're so far from it, but you know, it's nice to feel like we got it together again. So let's go Phils.
It is nice. And you're right, these late games are killing me. Now that I'm on a normal schedule, I wake up around 7. I go to sleep when Phillies aren't playing West Coast games around midnight-ish, midnight, 12:30. I used to be more of a 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. guy and wake up around 9 or 9:30, but I've shifted back a little bit. It's making it extremely hard for these West Coast games, 1,000%. I can't believe there's times, and I was even talking to my wife about this, where I would record after the game during these West Coast swings. They weren't 30 minutes back then. I did more of like a 10 to 12-minute hit afterwards, I think. Maybe I did do some 30-minuters, though, because I did get to the 30-minute mark rather quickly-ish, starting out with 4 minutes, 5 minutes, then 8 minutes, then 12 minutes, and here we are today, many, many years later. We started in 2017, and we're still rocking 6 years later. Pretty remarkable. Can't thank you guys all enough. And I guess I'll just summarize there. Also, speaking of loving you all, you're great. A lot of transitions with the speaking of. I notice that sometimes when I'm talking, and maybe I'm just a fool for realizing no one else did it, and now you just did. Spotify is killing it lately. Same with Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the podcasting platforms. We're doing numbers. Appreciate it all. If you can leave a 5-star rating and a review, 5 stars on Spotify, it would be great. The numbers are eye-popping. It's incredible. Just thank you. Thank you. So I'll just show some love over to the audio side. Appreciate you guys. You're the greatest. I love you all. Thank you. Sports Talk with Broach Media on those podcasting platforms. I'll catch you guys on the next one.